I need to be honest with you. For the past 11 years, I have been tracking prepper regulations and monitoring every change happening in Washington. And there is something that is keeping me up at night. Right now, in 2025, there are 12 items sitting on store shelves across America that you can legally buy without any restrictions whatsoever. But in less than 8 months, new federal regulations are going to make these items either completely banned, heavily restricted, or so expensive that average preppers will not be able to afford them. And the insane part is that most preppers out there have absolutely no idea this is coming. Number 9 on this list is something you can walk into any hardware store in the country and buy for $15 right now. After January 2026, you will need a federal permit, a background check, and it will cost you over $300 if you can even get approved through the system. And when I tell you about number 3, you are going to understand exactly why I have been quietly stockpiling these items for the past 6 months with everything I can afford. It is something our grandparents and great-grandparents used every single day of their lives. But new EPA regulations are about to make it vanish completely from store shelves. If this sounds important to you, hit that subscribe button right now, because this kind of information is exactly what I cover on this channel, and you do not want to miss what is coming. Item number 1 is high-capacity water filters with silver. The first item you need to get right now is high-capacity gravity water filters that use silver impregnation. I am talking about those big filters that can process thousands of gallons, the ones with colloidal silver or silver-based media. The EPA has been reviewing silver-based water treatment products for 3 years, and buried in the new Safe Drinking Water Act amendments that take effect January 2026, there is language that reclassifies silver-based filtration media as a regulated antimicrobial agent. After January 2026, any water filter that uses silver will require EPA certification to sell. The certification process costs manufacturers over $50,000 per product line. Most small companies cannot afford that. They will just stop making them. The big corporate brands will jack up prices to cover certification costs. Silver-based filters are the gold standard for long-term water purification. The silver prevents bacterial growth inside the filter itself, which means the filter lasts years longer. Without silver, filters become breeding grounds for bacteria within months. I personally bought 6 replacement filter elements last month. Each one filters 10,000 gallons. That is 60,000 gallons of clean water for my family. It cost me $400 total. After the regulations hit, those same filters will probably cost $1,500 or more. Keep them in the original packaging in a cool, dry place. The ceramic and carbon media does not degrade. Most preppers think they are covered because they have got one countertop filter. That is not enough. You need backup filters before the regulations make them impossible to get. Right now, you can order these online and have them delivered in 3 days. No questions asked, no permits needed. After January, that window closes forever. Item number 2 is antibiotics for fish. All right, number 2 is controversial, but I'm going to be straight with you. Fish antibiotics. Right now, you can walk into any pet store or go online and buy fish antibiotics. These are the exact same antibiotics that doctors prescribe for humans. Same active ingredient, same dosage, same manufacturing standards. The only difference is the label says for aquarium use. Amoxicillin for fish is the same amoxicillin your doctor prescribes. I am not telling you to take fish antibiotics. I am telling you that in 7 months, you will not be able to buy them anymore. The FDA final rule that takes effect in 2026 requires all antibiotics, even those labeled for animal use, to be sold only through licensed veterinarians with a prescription. This includes fish antibiotics. I know this because I have a friend who owns a chain of pet stores. He got the notification from his suppliers 4 months ago. After January 2026, he can no longer stock fish antibiotics without becoming a licensed veterinary retailer, which requires completely different insurance, licensing, and liability coverage. Most pet stores are just going to stop carrying them. Here is the reality that preppers need to face. In a real collapse scenario, you are not getting to a doctor. Hospitals will be overwhelmed. Pharmacies will be cleaned out. And a simple bacterial infection that could be cured with a $5 course of antibiotics becomes life-threatening. I personally stocked up on a range of common antibiotics. Amoxicillin for general infections, ciprofloxacin for more serious bacterial issues, metronidazole for certain types of infections. And I did my homework. I researched proper dosages, storage requirements, and shelf life. Fish antibiotics stored properly in a cool, dark place maintain potency for years beyond the expiration date. Studies have shown that most antibiotics retain 90% effectiveness for 10 years or more when stored correctly. I bought from reputable suppliers that show the actual pharmaceutical company that manufactures them. I verified that the active ingredients matched human prescriptions, and I stored them in amber glass bottles with desiccant packets in my climate-controlled storage area. This cost me about $300 total. After the regulations hit, this option simply will not exist anymore. In most of Europe, this already happened. You cannot buy any antibiotics without a prescription, even for animals. And guess what happened? Black market prices went through the roof. A course of antibiotics that cost $10 legally now costs $200 illegally. America is heading the same direction. The window to prepare is right now. Item number 3 is old formula cleaning products. Number 3 is something your grandmother used every day, but it is about to be completely banned. Old formula cleaning products that actually work. I am talking about cleaners that contain phosphates, lye, and high concentrations of bleach. The EPA has been systematically banning effective cleaning chemicals for the past decade, replacing them with eco-friendly formulas that honestly do not work as well. And the final phase of these regulations takes full effect in 2026. Trisodium phosphate is being banned in 15 more states and will be federally restricted for consumer sale. High concentration bleach products above 6% are being limited to commercial use only. Lye-based drain cleaners are being reformulated to lower concentrations that do not work nearly as well. In a real survival situation, if your only water source gets contaminated, you need serious disinfectant, not some watered-down eco-formula. If you are dealing with human waste in a grid-down scenario, you need industrial-strength cleaners. The new formulas will not cut it. I went to every hardware store in my area 3 months ago and bought every bottle of old formula TSP I could find. I grabbed industrial bleach at full concentration. I stocked up on the original formulation drain cleaners that actually dissolve clogs. The original formula of a popular drain cleaner contained 95% sulfuric acid. It would clear any clog in 30 seconds. The new eco-friendly version contains 30% sulfuric acid. It takes 5 times as long and often does not work at all. Storage is critical with these chemicals. Keep them in original containers, tightly sealed, in a ventilated area away from living spaces. I use a dedicated storage shed. These chemicals do not degrade if stored properly. The cost was minimal, maybe $200 total, but the value in a long-term emergency is massive. Sanitation kills more people in disaster situations than almost anything else. Having professional-grade cleaning and disinfecting chemicals means you can maintain hygiene standards that prevent disease. After 2026, you will be stuck with watered-down formulas designed more for environmental compliance than actual effectiveness. Get the real stuff while you still can. Item number 4 is high wattage incandescent bulbs. Item 4 sounds weird, but hear me out. High wattage incandescent light bulbs that put out serious heat. Incandescent bulbs have been slowly getting phased out for years, but there were exemptions for certain specialty bulbs, rough service bulbs, and high wattage heat lamps. Those exemptions expire in 2026. After January, it becomes illegal to manufacture or import incandescent bulbs of any type in the United States. Why does this matter? Because incandescent bulbs do something that LEDs cannot. They produce significant heat. A 100-watt incandescent bulb puts out about 90 watts of heat. In a survival winter situation, that heat matters. High wattage incandescent bulbs can be used as emergency heaters, improvised incubators for hatching eggs, heat sources for brewing, drying food, or warming small spaces. I bought a case of rough service incandescent bulbs in various wattages. 100 watt, 150 watt, and 250 watt heat lamp bulbs, they cost about $3 each. I stocked 50 bulbs total for about $150. Your power goes out in the middle of winter. You have got a small bathroom. You set up one 250-watt heat lamp bulb in a ceramic fixture. That tiny room becomes warm enough to be livable. You can heat water, dry clothes, or just have one warm space. And unlike propane heaters or kerosene, there is zero carbon monoxide risk. As long as you have electricity from a generator or solar setup, you have got heat. The bulbs last for thousands of hours. Storage is simple. Keep them in the original packaging in a dry place. They do not degrade. A bulb sitting on a shelf for 20 years works exactly the same as a new one. After these are gone, they are gone. There is no legal way to manufacture them. Once current inventory sells out, that is it. Most preppers are so focused on flashlights and lanterns that they are not thinking about heat. In a long-term grid-down situation, heat is survival. These bulbs give you options. Get them now while you still can. Item number 5 is old stock ammunition, manufactured before new regulations. New environmental regulations taking effect in 2026 target lead content in ammunition. The rules require all ammunition sold in the United States to be lead-free or use encapsulated lead that meets new EPA standards. Manufacturers have to completely retool production lines. The cost is massive. What that means is that many older calibers and specialty rounds are just being discontinued because the sales volume does not justify retooling. I talked to a guy who works in distribution for a major ammunition company. He told me they are discontinuing 47 different product lines rather than invest in compliance. Once current stock is sold, those calibers are done. Older rifle calibers like 30-30 and 45-70. Specialty shotgun loads. Subsonic rounds for suppressed firearms. And cheap bulk ammunition that is currently imported from overseas. I spent the past 4 months buying specific calibers that I know are going to disappear. I focused on ammunition for my hunting rifles and specialty rounds that are hard to find even now. I probably spent $3,000, but I have got enough ammunition to last me the rest of my life. I am not buying common calibers like 9mm or 5.56. Those will still be available, just more expensive. I am buying the weird stuff, the old calibers, the specialty rounds. Anything that is already hard to find. Storage is critical with ammunition. Keep it in ammo cans with desiccant packs in a climate-controlled space. Ammunition stored properly lasts 50 years or more. I have got military surplus ammunition from the 1960s that still shoots perfectly. This is not just about shooting. Ammunition is one of the most valuable barter items in any collapse scenario. Having calibers that are no longer being produced makes your ammunition worth significantly more in trade. This is your last chance to stock up on old production ammunition before it is gone forever. Item number 6 is large refillable propane tanks without the new OPD valves being mandated in 2026. Right now, you can buy older style propane tanks with traditional valves. These tanks are simple, repairable, and last forever. But new DOT regulations taking effect next year require all propane tanks to have overfill protection device valves with additional safety features. The new valves are expensive, prone to failure, and difficult to repair. Older tanks with traditional valves will no longer be legally refillable after the regulation takes effect. Propane suppliers will be prohibited from filling tanks that do not have the new valve systems. You will be forced to either retrofit your old tanks with new valves at significant cost or buy completely new tanks. I immediately bought 6 older style 100-pound propane tanks from farms that were upgrading. I paid about $50 each for tanks that are worth 3 times that much. The older valve systems are simple and can be maintained with basic tools. If a valve starts leaking, you can rebuild it yourself with a $20 rebuild kit. The new OPD valves are sealed units. When they fail, you have to replace the entire valve assembly for over $100. And they fail more often because they have more complex internal components. In a long-term survival situation, having equipment that you can maintain and repair yourself is critical. The new tanks are designed to be replaced, not repaired. I have got 6 tanks that hold a combined 600 pounds of propane. That is enough to run my backup generator, my propane heater, and my cooking stove for months. Storage and safety are important with propane. Keep tanks outside in a well-ventilated area, secured, so they cannot tip over. Check valves regularly for leaks using soapy water. Never store propane indoors. Propane does not degrade. A tank filled today will be just as good 20 years from now. Unlike gasoline that goes bad or diesel that grows algae, propane is stable forever. Get the simple old-school tanks now. Item number 7 is bulk iodine solutions. Specifically, Lugol's iodine and povidone iodine in concentrations above 2%. The DEA has been slowly tightening restrictions on iodine because it can be used in illegal drug manufacturing. And the final phase of regulations in 2026 classifies bulk iodine solutions as List I chemicals, requiring reporting, licensing, and purchase limits. Right now, you can buy a bottle of 5% Lugol's iodine online for $15. After 2026, purchasing these products will require you to register with the DEA, report your purchases, and you will be limited in the quantity you can buy. Most retailers will simply stop carrying them. Iodine is one of the most versatile medical supplies you can have. It is a powerful disinfectant for wounds. You can purify water with it in emergency situations. It is essential for thyroid health, and it can be used to sterilize medical equipment. I went online and bought 6 large bottles of 5% Lugol's iodine. I also bought several bottles of 10% povidone iodine surgical scrub. Total cost was about $200. Each bottle of Lugol's iodine can purify thousands of gallons of water. A few drops per gallon makes water safe to drink. In a collapse scenario where antibiotics are unavailable, having powerful disinfectant could prevent infections that would otherwise be fatal. Keep iodine in dark glass bottles away from light. I keep mine in a dark cabinet. Iodine is also critical for thyroid health, especially in a nuclear fallout scenario. Having potassium iodide or regular iodine can protect your thyroid from radioactive iodine. After a nuclear event, iodine sells out in hours. I saw this happen after the Fukushima disaster. Get it now while it is still easy. Item number 8 is non-digital hand tools from before everything became electronic. Fully mechanical tools with zero electronics. Hand drills, manual post hole diggers, manual water pumps, push mowers, and mechanical timekeeping devices. Manufacturing of purely mechanical tools has been declining for years, and new energy efficiency regulations taking effect in 2026 actually incentivize manufacturers to discontinue manual versions of tools in favor of electric or battery-powered versions. In a long-term grid-down situation, electric tools are worthless. Batteries die, electronics fail, but a fully mechanical hand drill will work for 100 years. I have been systematically buying old-school manual tools for the past year. I bought a hand-crank drill press from an estate sale for $20. I picked up a manual water pump designed for wells. I found a fully mechanical push mower at a garage sale for $30. None of these tools require electricity, batteries, or fuel. They work purely on human power. Last summer, a massive storm knocked out power in my area for 3 weeks. My neighbor could not do basic repairs because nothing worked. Meanwhile, I was using my manual tools to fix things and help neighbors. Storage for manual tools is simple. Keep them clean, lightly oiled to prevent rust in a dry place. These tools do not degrade. I have got hand tools that are 50 years old that work better than modern power tools. I probably spent around $1,000 total building my collection, but I have got capabilities that will last the rest of my life without depending on electricity. Get them now while they are still considered old junk. Item number 9 is calcium hypochlorite pool shock in high concentrations. Right now, you can walk into any pool supply store and buy a bucket of 70% calcium hypochlorite pool shock for about $50. 1 pound of this stuff can purify 10,000 gallons of drinking water. It is the single most cost-effective water purification method that exists. New EPA regulations classify calcium hypochlorite above 50% concentration as a hazardous chemical requiring special storage, handling, and purchase documentation. After 2026, buying pool shock will require proof of a swimming pool, business license if buying in bulk, and mandatory reporting. I bought 4 buckets. Each bucket contains 25 pounds. That is 100 pounds total. Stored properly, this stuff lasts decades, and it can purify literally millions of gallons of water. Compare that to any other water purification method. Filters wear out. Iodine tablets expire. Boiling requires fuel. But pool shock lasts practically forever. Keep it in the original sealed buckets in a cool, dry place away from any organic materials. Do not store it near gasoline or fertilizer because calcium hypochlorite is a strong oxidizer. I keep mine in a separate shed. Water is survival. You can go weeks without food, but only days without water. Having the ability to purify unlimited water is essential. Get it now while it is still freely available. Item 10 is pure gasoline without ethanol. Federal renewable fuel standards have been gradually increasing the required ethanol content. Right now, most gas is 10% ethanol, but new standards taking effect in 2026 raise the minimum ethanol content to 15% nationwide. 15% ethanol fuel destroys small engines, damages fuel systems in older vehicles, and has a much shorter shelf life. Pure gasoline currently sells at a premium at certain marinas and airports. But after 2026, even these sources will be required to blend ethanol. If you are storing gasoline for emergency generators or vehicles, ethanol is your enemy. Ethanol absorbs water, which causes corrosion and fuel degradation. Gasoline with ethanol lasts maybe 6 months. Pure gasoline with stabilizer can last 2 years or more. I have been buying ethanol-free gas from a local marina and storing it in proper fuel containers with stabilizer. I have got about 200 gallons. Yes, it is expensive, but that is fuel that will actually work when I need it. Storage requires proper containers, quality stabilizer, and rotation. I date every container and use the oldest fuel first in my regular vehicles. After 2026, building a stockpile of quality gasoline becomes nearly impossible. Get it now? Item 11 is old-style heavy-duty steel containers manufactured before new regulations. New regulations require all steel containers to be manufactured with recycled content and new coating standards. The recycled steel is lower quality and more prone to rust. The new coating requirements eliminate traditional protective coatings that actually worked. Old 55-gallon drums are going to become impossible to find. I have been buying old-style heavy-duty steel drums for the past 6 months from industrial auctions and farm sales. I have got about 20 drums total. I paid anywhere from $10 to $30 per drum. These drums are worth their weight in gold. I use them for storing bulk dry goods, rainwater collection, fuel storage, and waste management. Quality steel containers are forever. Plastic containers degrade. They crack in cold weather, warp in heat, and break down from UV exposure. Get the old school quality steel now. Item 12 is bulk quantities of professional grade heirloom seeds. New seed regulations require all seeds to be tested and certified for germination rates, disease resistance, and genetic purity. The testing costs thousands of dollars per seed variety. Small heirloom seed companies cannot afford to certify hundreds of varieties. They will drastically reduce selections or go out of business. The big corporate seed companies will dominate with certified hybrid seeds that do not produce viable seeds for replanting. I spent the past year buying bulk quantities of heirloom seeds directly from small producers before they shut down. I am not talking about survival seed vaults with tiny amounts. I bought pounds of seeds, enough to plant multiple acres and to have seeds for trading. About $2,000 for seeds that could feed my family for generations. Store seeds in vacuum-sealed bags with desiccant packets in a freezer. This extends viability for decades. After the regulations hit, finding diverse heirloom varieties will become extremely difficult. This is your last chance to secure real food security. I am not fear-mongering. I am not trying to panic you. I am giving you information that most preppers will not know about until it is too late. Every single item on this list is going to be restricted, banned, or made prohibitively expensive within the next 8 months. You have a small window right now to prepare. This is not about hoarding. This is about securing the tools, supplies, and resources that you and your family will need in any long-term emergency. The regulations are real, the timeline is real, and the consequences of not preparing are real. I have spent 11 years tracking this stuff, and I have never seen regulatory changes moving this fast on this many fronts simultaneously. It is like watching a slow motion train wreck, and most people have no idea it is coming. So here is what you need to do right now. Pick the 3 items from this list that are most critical for your situation. Maybe you live in an area where water is your biggest concern, so silver filters and pool shock are priorities. Maybe you are focused on medical preparedness, so fish antibiotics and iodine are essential. Maybe you are thinking long-term food production, so heirloom seeds are crucial. Start there. Do not try to get everything at once, but do not wait. Make a plan, set a budget, and start acquiring these items now while they are still legal and available, because in 8 months, this window closes. And once it closes, it does not reopen. If you found this information valuable, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This is exactly the kind of content I provide on this channel. Real information that preppers need to know, not clickbait, not hype, just solid research and practical advice. And if you want to support the channel and help me continue doing this research, there is a link in the description. Every bit helps me bring you information that you will not find anywhere else. Stay prepared, stay informed, and get moving on this list before it is too late.